Welcome to the Dream Catalyst podcast. I'm Joan Daniels, your host. I believe God has given you a dream. He has given you a particular purpose and path to walk out in this life. And because God has given you this dream, He's given you everything you need in order to walk that purpose and plan out. All the right people, all the right circumstances, everything you're going to need to equip you and empower you along the way. And that's what this podcast is about. I pray that it blesses you, empowers you, and brings you hope. Hi, this is Joan Daniels with the Dream Catalyst podcast, and I just want to give you a moment of encouragement today. You know, oftentimes, I know it may not seem like it, people tell me I seem confident, but what I want to tell you is I'm a mess. And guess what? My mess is my message, right? That old adage, but it's so incredibly true. I feel like when we're out there in the world, when we're out there on social media, you know, that facade of perfectness, that facade of everything's good, it's just a bunch of lies. Am I right? Can I get a witness? Yeah, me too. You guys, I've had the hardest 4 years of my life, to be honest. To be really honest, it's been the roughest 4 years of my life, but I'm so grateful because everything you suffer through helps you grow and change and challenges you. It challenges your perceptions of the world. It challenges your message, right? What you're out there doing. And let me just say, if you haven't heard this lately, the world needs you. Not the perfect you, not those shiny, social media you, not the filter catfish view of you, not the AI generated picture of you. We need you, like exactly you, just where you are right now in the middle of your mess. And you know why? Because this is why we were created. I believe from birth to death is one big classroom. And we are all in class together. And we are all the same. And although I grew up as a Christian and I practice as a Christian, let me just say to you, nobody's perfect. I mean, unless you're counting Jesus who walked the earth, no person is perfect. If we were perfect, I believe we'd already be gone. We'd be done. Our journey would be over. Okay, so don't let the world or the comparison game get you. This is not the game you are playing. You know, have you ever watched a toddler or, a baby, if you will, learn how to crawl or how to walk or how to eat or how to do anything, pull themselves up? When you watch a child do that and they fail over and over and over, never once do you like, wow, boy, that baby is really just going to be a terrible walker. I mean, right? That doesn't even make sense. We know that it takes time and effort and energy, and you have to strengthen all the particular muscles. And I mean, as a former physical therapist, I know all the things that baby has to learn in order to walk and balance and do all that stuff. But somehow we think we're supposed to walk into the world and be really good at this. Really good at parenting, be the best teacher there is, be the best whatever it is you're learning right now. Guess what? It's all just a big lie. That's just a big fat lie. So I want you to not believe that. I want you to understand that we are all the same. We were born the same. We were connected. The entire world is connected. If you don't already know that, I'm trying to remember who said it first, but I read it in a book somewhere that, there's a confidence knob that's 0 to 10 and there's a connection knob that's 0 to 10. And what we need to do is turn your confidence knob up. I call it God confidence, right? Your God confidence knob, not your, oh, I'm good at this knob, but like I was created. I am here for a purpose. The world needs me how I am right now. Are you with me? That's the God confidence knob. We need that knob turned up. And then we need your connectedness knob turned up. Connectedness is just that we were all created to be here on earth together at this time, in this age, in this political climate. Yeah, I said it. Here's the deal. I don't care what your politics are. We're all people. We're all brothers and sisters. That's how I view it. And to be honest, if your connectedness knob is not turned all the way up and it's turned way down, then you're what we call too confident, right? You're cocky, you're overly confident, you're a pain in the butt. We don't like being around you because you brag all the time, right? And sometimes your confidence knob can be turned down and you seem kind of that way, but it's just a way, an inauthentic way for us to express ourselves and be like, yeah, I'm all that in a bag of chips. And, I feel like that's the problem, is sometimes our knobs are messed up. So where is your confidence knob and where is your world connectedness knob? Because here's the deal. We're all the same, right? They say, we put our pants on, one leg at a time, and it doesn't matter if you're the CEO or if you're the janitor or if you're the construction worker, we're all the same. That's how I've always viewed life. That's how I've always viewed people. And it really helps me stay grounded, but it didn't always help me stay in a good place with what I was currently learning and growing from. Are you with me? Because I can also be extremely self-critical. But here's my base belief that I think might help. You are fearlessly and wonderfully made, the Bible says. You are chosen. You are a child of God. You are his beloved. You are the apple of his eye. You're a victor and not a victim. So my belief is that because you were created and God knew you before you were knitted together in your mother's womb, the Bible says. Now you have to think about that. That means you were created before any of where you're at now was created, right? And do you think God could create something that was less than? I mean, do we really look at one tree versus another tree, or, like one ocean wave versus another? I think that was one of my amazing mentors' line. I mean, you can't compare one tree to another. I mean, just because one's bigger or stronger, or has more leaves or has less leaves, or like that doesn't make one tree better than another tree. Why do we think we can compare people and like look around and be like, oh, well, I'm better off than that person, but I'm holier than this person, but I'm not as holy, whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just bogus to compare. This life from birth to death is one big classroom. So all you're doing is learning. And the goal should just be to get a little bit better every day. So if you're flat on your face today and you're like, man, I can hardly get up, Joan. I don't even know what to do. I like, my dreams are shattered. My self-confidence is shattered. I want you to hear me. Sister and brother, if your breath is in your lungs and your heart is beating, you are meant to be here. And that is just truth with a capital T. Okay? If you are meant to be here, then God has a beautiful, perfect purpose for your life. And your job is just to figure out what that is. And everything that you've lived up to this second is absolutely where you were supposed to be. Trust that. Trust that you are just in a progression of learning. And just like the toddler learning to walk, we're not going to criticize you for falling down, because me too, all the time. So one of the reasons I ended up starting this podcast, honestly, was because someone said to me in my life that they thought I was perfect, or that I had a perfect life. And I was like, man, that is the last thing I ever want somebody to think. Because here's the deal. On social media, I try to be the light. I try to be positive. I'm just trying to, be the lamp in a dark world, right? Set my city on a hill. Be the light. That's all I'm trying to do. But I am not trying to not be real about it. Does that make sense? So I just want you to understand that, honestly, everybody's in the same boat with you. Quit telling yourself you're less than. It's lies. How do you quit believing that? You notice it and you catch the thought. And whether you say the name of Jesus in Jesus' name to get rid of that negative thought, or I like to call it homeless Bob. Thank you, Michael Neal, one of my mentors. He always called that voice in your head that's critical homeless Bob, which cracks me up. Because homeless Bob wants you to be homeless too, right? Which totally makes sense to me, because homeless Bob's been real loud in my little head for a long time. So, the deal is that my mom said it best, honestly, you guys. At probably age 72, my mom died at age 73 of cancer. It was awful and tragic, and my heart broke, and I was suffering and pain with her loss, because she was everything to me. She was my mentor. She was my best friend. She was just pure love in my mind. And thank you, Mom. I love you. She said to me at the age of 72, at some point in that year, I remember this so distinctly. She said to me, and she was going through cancer treatments, and she said, my body is 72, but really I'm about 32 or maybe even 28. Like she said, you know, you never feel as old as you are. So the next time you have an older person around you, remember they feel the same as they did 50 years ago or 60 years ago. You guys, they're the same person. They just live more life and their body is just breaking down, right? Like we're all supposed to do. We're only here for a finite period of time to learn and grow. And so by my mom saying that, and that was, gosh, 9, almost 10 years ago, I really let go a piece of me. Like, you know how I feel like it's the iceberg or the glacier or whatever, like a chunk of ice fell off me of quit expecting yourself to arrive. We're not going to. I think one day God's just going to be like, hey, Joan, you did what you're supposed to do here. And now your time is done. I feel that that's what happened to my mom. I feel like her purpose here was over. And so, you know, she got to go to heaven before me. And thank God, I'm so glad she's there. Because I think here is the hard part. I think here is the lessons. I think here is where we dig in and learn and grow. So I just want you to know that philosophy, because even if you haven't thought that thought before, like it would probably serve you so much better than you telling yourself you're not enough or telling yourself that, you know, you're a mess. I used to say I'm a mess all the time, and I'm still working on it because it still comes out of my mouth. But now when I say I'm a mess, I think, but it's my message. I'm a mess, but it's my message. You know, I've gone through so many trials over four years, and what I've learned, and y'all, I'm such a vision person. I'm such a go for the goal person. Like if you need something done, give it to Joan, because I will get it done, right? But, you know, in the last 4 years, I have been broken down like a lot of the world in the, you know, post-pandemic COVID crazy is what I call it. And I feel like so many people are there. You know, we're starting down. We're starting in this place where we're climbing out of the pit. You know, we're clawing our way out of the pit. And some of us, like me, grabbed onto food as their comfort. Some people grabbed onto alcohol, and some people grabbed onto other things, right? Some people grabbed onto health. God bless you. I wish you would bottle it. I would have bought it, and I would have taken that drug if it was some sort of addicted to exercise deal, or addicted to, like, I don't know, salad. It would be so awesome. But, you know, unfortunately, I never got addicted to that. So here we go. But my whole point is we're all clawing our way back to feeling good every day, to feeling passionate and joyful and seeing the sun and waking up and having a whole new outlook. And I just want to encourage you, because less than a year ago, I was shattered. My husband and I were separated. He was going through a bunch of health stuff. I was too. We needed time apart, and it shattered me, because when your vision of your life and the direction you're going and the life you plan gets shattered, you literally feel like you wake up and you're looking at a shattered piece of glass over the ground, and you have no idea how to glue those shards back together. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, how do I form that vision now? And what I want to encourage you is that there is a way. There is a way for you. And I just pray that if you're hearing my voice right now, that you get this deep in your soul. Each day is a do-over. Whether you're on the mountaintop and you're doing all the good things and you're killing it, or you are just whiffing the ball, you know, you're just like swing, whiff. You know, if that's you, sister or brother, get up. Because today is a new day. Honest. You can start over right now with your purpose, with your plan, with your vision. God put breath in your lungs today for a reason, and he has a purpose for you, and he has all the right people and all the right circumstances that are waiting for you to believe enough to take that next step. And, you know, we're never given the whole plan. We're never given the entire whole path forward like we, you know, sometimes can see on Waze or Google Maps or Apple Maps or something. We can't always see the whole way. Sometimes we can only see that little bit that the headlights of your car are shining onto the pavement. You know, have you ever been on a dark roadway? Like sometimes you can only see that little tiny bit, but you have to trust. And what's beautiful, what Michael Neal, one of my mentors, has taught me is what's beautiful is the game is rigged in your favor. It is rigged. You got to believe that you actually are winning. Even if you feel like you're losing, you are on the right path now. I believe that every day is another start. Killing it or whiffing it, you get to start over again tomorrow. So sometimes, I was coaching somebody and I just said, you probably need to go to bed and start over tomorrow. Sometimes you just, that mindset, homeless Bob is so loud and your voice in your head is so loud. Sometimes you got to go to bed, let yourself chill out, go back down to that baseline peace that God gives us, the peace that surpasses all understanding. Oh yeah, it's in you. It's a gift. You were born with it. We just don't always touch it, right? Sometimes we're paddling so hard on our boat. We're paddling so hard we get flipped around and we're looking at the shoreline going, am I further? And am I further? Gosh, it looks like I'm in the same place. Why I'm in the same place? Because you're paddling so hard and you're not letting God, universe, pure love, whatever you want to call it, flip you around and get you downstream. And so sometimes we have to let go of the control factor. Am I getting with anyone? You understand what I'm saying? Whew. That is so something I had to learn this year, because when a marriage or an occupation or a path or a health diagnosis or something throws you off course and you see your dream or your vision shatter, sometimes you don't know how to go forward. And you got to pull those oars in and get quiet, get in nature, get with God, allow Him to move you forward, allow Him to show you the path, because I promise there is one. I think that, that's what I had to do. I had to learn that lesson of, Joan, it's shattered, but it's still here. Joan, that path is still in front of you. Go forward. Take a step. Take another step. I'll show you the next thing. I'll show you the next thing. Jamie Winship, I don't know him personally, but he is an actual personal mentor of mine. Thank you, Jamie Winship. Your book saved me. Living Fearless by Jamie Winship. He taught me my identity. He showed me back to God as telling me my identity, and he does extraordinary things. He works with terrorists, you guys. He's worked with terrorists. He's worked with school children. He's worked with all people. And all human beings know down deep the truth with a capital T, that you were made for something. And you may not know what it is, and you might be scrambling, and you might have misidentified yourself. You might have said, I'm not enough, or I am dumb, or I am, not good at this, or I am terrible at this, or I am too fat, or I am too skinny, or I am too whatever, right? You may have believed some of those labels, but that Living Fearless book taught me to give those labels and just give them over to God. Give them over to pure love. And he teaches, what would pure love say to you if you handed him all those labels? What would he say to you? What would he do with those? And then he teaches you how to recreate that identity. Whew, it was just a game changer for me. I just want you to know that you not only are fearfully and wonderfully made, not only are you here for a reason, but you are here and we need you. The world needs you. Right where you are, even if you're desperate, even if you're sad, even if you're having a hard time, there's answers for you. I believe that with all of my heart and all of my soul. There are answers if you will just keep looking, if you will just trust, if you will just stop paddling so hard, take a breath. Okay, Michael Neal says, take the snow globe of your head, which is all shook up and all the snow is everywhere, and let that snow settle. And when you let the snow settle and you get quiet and you breathe, which is why I love nature. It's why I love pets. It's why I love animals. They're just naturally already in that state. So it's so cool. If you're around someone that has that peace within them, you literally will get that energy of peace by being there with them. So cool. When you let that settle, you'll start to realize that the world needs you as you are. Flaws and all, mess and all. We need you. We need the flavor of whoever you are to be who you are in the world and show up and do the things you need to do here. And it's not always easy, and it's definitely not always fun, but there is magic in it if you see it, if you allow yourself to settle down, be peaceful, and see it. What I will tell you is that God has such an amazing plan and a purpose. And there are many more books and podcasts and things that you can listen to encourage you. But I want you to hear me say, God has given you a dream, a purpose for your life, and he's giving you everything you need to accomplish it. Have you seen Bruce Almighty? I love Bruce Almighty. Jim Carrey is just hilarious, right? I mean, talk about a purpose. Is he not hilarious? I mean, you can't watch one of Jim Carrey's movies without laughing, right? His slapstick comedy reminds me of Dick Van Dyke. Like, it's just Laurel and Hardy, right? It's just sometimes people are just given that gift of joy. I believe one of my sons is going to be like that. He just gives you joy just being around him. But the idea is just that you have to remember that you were made right now for a time such as this. And that goal and that purpose and that flavor of you, right? Bruce Almighty, he's given it to you. And if you'll listen, he's nudging you. And I always say, God will give you the nudge. He'll whisper, he'll whisper something. Then he'll nudge you. Then he'll talk to you. And then if you're Joan Daniels, he will slap you upside with a 2x4 if you're not listening, right? And I'm usually on the floor having been slapped by the 2x4 going, whoops, oh, maybe I needed to change that. Oh, yeah, maybe I need to figure out my new plan, or I need to do this a little differently, or I need to correct that. And I mean, that's okay. That's the beauty of this. And Bruce Almighty, I loved the scene where God had given Bruce godly powers. And so he does all these selfish things. And then he starts to actually try to help people. And then he gets overwhelmed with how many voices he has in his head. One of the things I was talking about yesterday is, when you have a Facebook group or a social media group where you have enough friends that you can see what's going on with them, it's overwhelming what people are going through. And oftentimes they're going through stuff that's way worse than what you're going through. But when you have that kind of bird's eye view of like more people in life, like I think of pastors and over a congregation, or teachers in a school, when you see what all the kids are dealing with, you start to go, whoa, my problems aren't that bad. Or comparatively, like, look at their problems. They're so much worse, right? Which is the whole comparison game. But at the same time, it's like, man, can you imagine God? Can you imagine God? So in Bruce Almighty, Jim Carrey's character, Bruce, is like, yeah, I couldn't handle this. Like, I don't know how you do this with the whole world. And God basically says, yeah, I didn't give you the whole world. I gave you like the 10 block radius that you live on. And that's all you got. And Bruce was so overwhelmed. So, I think we just don't always have that perspective. So I would love for you to just understand that if you have breath in your lungs and you have your heart beating, you are here on purpose. And as long as we're here, we might as well get just a little better every day, make a little bit of progress every day, wake up with a good attitude, and go after it. Am I right? I mean, that's all we can do is get up and try again. Get up and look for a new answer. Get up and trust that God's plan is enough and is going to show me the path forward. I feel like the times that where my vision shattered and where I had to start again, which have been many times in my life, but just recently this past year, I had to just get quiet with God and listen. Okay, so y'all can probably already tell I'm a good talker. I had to actually just say, God, tell me what you need to know about this situation. And then tell me what you need me to do. I had to confess. I had to tell him all my doubts, all my fears, and then hand them over to him because I can't handle all that. You're not meant to handle it either, which is, thank God, why we have God. So hand over, get quiet, let the snow globe settle. Get in peace, hand it over, and then listen for the next step. Listen for how to move forward. I promise you it's there. I promise you it's going to be so much better. Ephesians 3:20 says, better than we could ever ask or imagine, God has a plan and a purpose for you. You guys, it's better than you could ask or imagine, right? Ask, and it shall be answered. Knock. It's knock, and it shall be answered. All right? Honestly, the answers are there. The path forward is there. Don't compare. You're right where you need to be. And I just want to say, to end this up, that I believe in you. I believe in your dream that God has given you in your heart, whatever that is. I believe that he has a way forward for you that is hopeful and joy-filled. And yes, filled with trials and hard times, because when he strips all of it away from you and you realize it's you and him, man, you can do tremendous things together when you rely on him and not on your own doing. Yeah, I'm talking to myself too, because that is so my default. But I just want you to know that if God has given you that dream in your heart, he's given you everything you need to achieve it, all the plans forward. Just get quiet today. Stop comparing yourself. Stop telling yourself you're not enough and realize that you are enough. And today is a new day. And your plan and your purpose is right now to go out and do what God has planned for you. I believe it with all my heart, and I want you to know it. I want you to feel it from me, and I want you to go forth and do great things, because I know you can, and I know you will, if you give yourself that mercy and that grace and that time to get quiet and listen. I hope this helps you. I pray that all of these podcasts change your life. And again, God's given you a dream. There's a path forward. There's a way forward. He's given you everything you need to achieve it. Now it's your time. It's your time to go get it. Have a fantastic day.